Play song. Let's stop him.
Never makes sense. Stay in school. Educate yourself. You can change the world. Just believe in yourself. Give love a chance. Oh yeah.
You share already?
Give love a chance. Oh yeah.
Even the elements need love too. Earth, winds, and fire, and water too. The goodness of love must come from you. From deep inside, like the love shines through. Love makes you smile and a hate make you fun. Love lifts you up and a hate bring you down. Love is the greatest gift from God. Where there is love,
Oh, shucks, we're in the wrong.
love is the key to all happiness.
Voices again, violence, but it's alright.
Goodness, oh, love is the answer to everything. Solve all your problems with sweet, sweet loving. Hey, nothing is sweeter
I'm gonna start
than
that.
love. Nothing is higher than love.
Don't load on the
Than
music.
love. Nothing is better than love. Nothing is happier than love. Nothing is sweeter than love. Nothing is gentler than love. Nothing is better than love.
Love a chance. Oh yeah. Give love a chance. Oh yeah.
Good evening, hello, and welcome to the Caribbean Voice, the presentation of the mind-body connection. We are in the group Voices Against Violence, just one of the page we manage from the Caribbean Voice. My partner in crime, Mr. Kenneth Hiram, is all excited. Sorry for being late. We were doing some testing. Yes, we have so many studios in session. Hey, Mr. Hiram, how was your day?
Hey, good evening, Shanaz. How are you today? I am fine. I'm glad I get some rest before when I came home today.
Well, you look well rested and fully prepared. I must say he has lots and lots of information to share with you guys. So keep it locked right here to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Let's go.
Music. Rape and sexual abuse are crime that violates basic human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mind-Body Connection, a program that is brought to you by the Caribbean Voice, a non-profit organization that deals with suicide prevention and domestic abuse, among many other things. We want to say thank you very much for tuning in our program tonight. It's important that you tune in tonight because we have so much information to share with you guys tonight. Our topic tonight is rape, sexual abuse, and so much more tonight. So, a whole lot of information, Shanaz.
Lots and lots of information, but let's go. We have a few DJs in the house today ready to share some music with you guys. As they say, music is always soothing for the soul, the mind, body, and the soul. So let's go with the DJ and we'll be right back.
Play the song. Oh.
I see.
चलने लगी है हवाएं
I just share it too.
भी लहराएं
You don't want to pull in your microphone?
चलने लगी है हवाएं सागर भी लहराएं पल पल दिल मेरा तरसे पल पल तुम याद आए चलने लगी है हवाएं सागर भी लहराए
You are strong like me. Misha, you are strong like me.
What is this the right track? I don't sound like anybody.
Alright. Very good. Good, good. No shit. Caramana, you do the better. No shit. All the girls under my love, and the cat get the karma to still. Yeah.
Wait, the song will get them. I'm gonna trick them.
Hot fun a fight over girl, no. Show the ring away your girlfriend, yo. Be real. Tell them you gonna
It's
be
9
girl,
o'clock.
no. Make them look at what the girl them look, yo. Hot fun a fight over girl, no. Show the ring away your girlfriend, yo. Be real. Tell them you gonna be girl, no. Make them look at what the girl come look, yo.
तुझे पाक ऐसा लगा सब मिल गया तुझे पाक ऐसा लगा सब मिल गया जैसे इस दीवाने को रब मिल गया हमको ही चाहो तेरी चाहत है हम दिल से तो देखो हमको मोहब्बत है हम दिल खोया है कुछ में दीवाना हो गया है ये पागल आवारा बेगाना हो गया है चलने लगी है हवा
You share it too, right? Yeah, share like in a couple of groups.
मिल जाए
You wanna grab a chair?
पल पल
Grab a chair right there so you when he ready to talk.
पल पल तुम याद आए चलने लगी है हवाएं कागज की लहराएं
Hot fun a hot fun a hot fun a
Hey, welcome back to the Caribbean Voice presentation of Mind Body Connection. That is the Mind Body Connection. And yes, how was your day? We do care about you and your loved ones, so I hope everything is well. And I know so many folks should be involved, so many children should be involved in helping their parents. I must say Mr. Kenneth is blessed to have two sons who are anxiously awaiting to help him with something, and that is a good way to raise them.
Yes, and Geeta and Nevi today they played a very important part in
Yes,
all of
they're
this.
always helping you, setting up.
You know, yes. So Shanaz, you know, there's so much thing going on, and we want to apologize to you guys for being late. But we're starting now in my studio today, so we have a little technical difficulties. But one thing, let us start tonight by saying, you know, this young girl Sydney, she committed suicide over the weekend. And this morning, I was told that another guy committed suicide, which his daughter actually died last year. So, you know, what we have to say, and I would like to tell people, is that, you know, depression can occur with anyone, and it happens overnight. Not overnight yet. It's a process. It takes time. So when these things happen, you lost your child, and, you know...
So he fall into a chronic depression
and he never get out of it. Also, let's talk about this girl, Sydney, who died. You know, she had been depressed, we could tell, and she became suicidal. So as parents, we have a responsibility to, when things like this happen, we have to look at our kids and our children, pay attention to them to see what's going on. And a good thing what the parents should have done is keep an eye on this child and make sure she gets some kind of counseling.
Get counseling, get help. Do not let it procrastinate. You know, we always say tomorrow we'll do it. And when it comes to your children, you know, they can't express how they're feeling sometimes. And we as parents should know whether something is bothering your child and how, as take it upon ourselves to get them the help. They wouldn't say, Mommy, I need counseling.
Yes.
They don't know where to go for help.
As parents, we have to be proactive in terms of helping our children, you know. And it's sad that this happened. But I want to tell you, if you're feeling like depressed or suicidal, you can call 1-800-273-8255. Again, that number it's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's 1-800-273-8255. Keep that number in case you or your family feeling depressed or you want to talk to somebody, you're suicidal, keep that. Another thing, if you're in New York State, you can always call 311 or call 911 where they can connect you to a live operator where you can get all the help that you need.
All the counseling and somebody to talk to us. As we always say in our program, sometimes it's just having a voice over the other line or having someone to talk to at that moment. Let's say good night to Varshini. How are you doing? Ina, Benny, good night to you. And hey, Mr. Suresh Sugram, good night to you. Always supporting us, the Caribbean Voice. And that is how it should be. All the organizations working together for one common goal, and it's making everyone's life a little bit better. Hey, Zulfikar, good night to you. Kapadia Lalman, good night to each and every one of you. I hope you guys had a fantastic Monday, and I hope you guys could hit share so everyone around the world could see the Caribbean Voice on our page, Voices Against Violence. Just one of the page we have for the Caribbean Voice, and Mr. Hiram have so much information we like to share with you guys, and hopefully you can be an advocate when it comes to keeping our children safe. We, as parents, adults, it's our responsibility. I wouldn't be sitting somewhere and see a girl or a boy child go in the bathroom and, you know, some advantage taken over them.
Right,
As an
right.
adult, I will make sure everyone's safety is upkept. So
That's right. And you know, Shanaz, the Caribbean Voice is working on a one-year project to turn around the Ash Academy, a high school on the east coast of the Marara in Guyana. They're asking for like library books.
Right.
They want to help. We want to help with a computer lab and the playground. So we're asking for books, any material, library
all the
material.
sporting goods, a lot of games we're asking for. And we didn't make this list public because they reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice, and we have acquired a lot of these items. It's just one day, but we have acquired some sporting goods, and friends of mine are saying they'll donate the games. And it's such a good idea to have games in school. Like America, we have chess games, we have Monopoly, we have all these games that you could partake in at such a high level, like it's a karate class, you know. It keeps you a little occupied
yes,
at the
yes.
same time. So guys, if you would like to sponsor a board game or some kind of sporting equipment, give it to us. We will be shipping out another pallet to Guyana pretty soon, and let's say our pallets, 2 pallets arrive in Guyana. The humanitarian mission in Port Morant have them, and we have members going there soon to recover, get these things and items that they need to all the members in Guyana. If someone in Guyana need a wheelchair, do reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice. We're on Facebook, Mr. Hiram, Geeta, Anand Budram. Good night to each and every one of you. And yes, reach out to us and let us know where to deliver your wheelchair, or someone could come and pick it up from us.
You can contact Shanaz, myself, or Anand Budram, and in case you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at the CaribbeanVoice@aol.com. Also, you can get us on Facebook. You can always inbox us on our message. We would like to say thank you very much for Alex Miles. He's watching. Russell Link, thank you very much for tuning in. My aunt Dolores Sigobin is watching from Hartford, Connecticut. Baby Amina Ratmatullah is watching. And the Queen herself, Miss Geeta Rampasad, is watching too.
Well, Geeta Rampasad have first seat in our studio today. She's always supportive of you, and it's an important role to have your spouse supportive of whatever you're doing, whatever tasks you may have at hand.
Well, Shanaz, you know a good thing they say, when you have a good wife, you have a good life.
Right.
So that's a beautiful thing.
And that's why you're always smiling.
Thank you very much. Also, we want to say that, and we're going a little fast because we're out of time. As you know, Anand Budram wrote a book, The Slice of Life, and part of his proceedings will be going to the Caribbean Voice.
That's right. Our non-for-profit organization. Ina, Benny, thank you very much. I'll reach out to you on getting these items from you to ship to Guyana. Good night, Auntie Fiza, Raheem. Hey, Russell, how you doing? Thank you for sharing. Russell is our #1 share when it comes to sharing our links on Facebook and all the social media. Hey, Zulfikar, Ali Baksh, good night to you. Thank you guys for joining us here at the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. We have some music for you. We have some talking. And because we're a little late, we will cut the music and we'll go straight into talking. Make our program very informative.
That's correct. That's correct. So we have music coming up?
Well, we have a song coming up, and then Mr. Kenneth will have all he has to talk about.
Me mother said that she in charge of finding my wife. Arrange marriage, the woman for the rest of my life. But after one year my marriage was done, my mother chose the wrong woman. After 1 year my marriage was done, my mother chose the wrong woman. The girl she named
Sinead Gita.
yeah, the girl she named side to side, side to side.
to school, but he didn't know what to think. He's so advanced.
No, thank you, mommy. I was not happy.
Professor, you get good stuff.
Not for me. 'Cause after 1 year, my marriage
You look nice,
was
funny
done.
thing.
My mother
You think
just
so?
did wrong.
We can't turn it back because back of my head are cold.
After 1 year, my marriage was done. My mother
But it's only a
just
fix
did
up front.
wrong, man. Side to side. Side to side. Side to side. Side to side.
Say something about that.
Me like doing for him, but he don't do for nobody else. Diraj, he send you?
No.
Oh. Since when you support Diraj?
You can do it.
In the same place now. No one to be
But
that.
after 1 year, my marriage was done. My mother chose the wrong woman. After 1 year, my marriage was
Me just only do it because he used to do stuff for me. She do stuff for me.
The girl she named Natasha. Yeah, the girl she named
So big up to all you beautiful Natashas out there. And let's big up the beautiful Neela Pawaru Narayan, one of the Caribbean Voice own. And where is the beautiful Bibi Ahmad, our member of Guyana? Good night, guys. Hey, we're talking about a little bit about Hangama Fiesta that is done by the dancing sensational himself, Mr. Diraj Gayaram. He always throw a really fantastic Mother's Day show, and this time it's happening May 4th at the Epic Lounge on Rockaway, 122nd Street and Rockaway Boulevard, May 4th. So guys, support the dancing sensational Mr. Diraj Gayaram. And another upcoming event is Chutney Wine, as we have some tickets here. Not just tickets, they're VIP tickets, right? Mr.
10 of
Kenneth
them.
supported the Chutney Wine team, Mr. Buddy Singh and his team. We will be there. And that is what I talk about, cooperation and NGOs working together. Buddy Singh is always supporting Concert for Hope, the Caribbean Voice stuff, and we're always supporting him. And I would like to see in the future so much more organization or shows make it a platform for Caribbean Voice.
That's a beautiful thing, and you know, the more together we will stand, and the
Right.
we will fall. So that's a good thing we like to say. Varshini is traveling; she's in upstate New York. Diana Shivram, thank you very much for watching. Anita Dowlat Ram is watching from Canada. Thank you, guys. And Selector Abid, always a kind guide with his words. And thank you for always supporting us. So let's go and talk about sexual violence. As you know, Shanaz, it's such a violation on a woman that
Well, you know, the first
raped.
word when you said violation sexually, you would think of just women and girls.
Yes.
But as we've been reading recently now, it's so many other boys also are being involved. So it's a shared, you know,
Yes, even to gay and lesbian people, individuals, they are being
molested and
so on.
harassed and
So
abused.
let's talk. What is sexual violence? Sexual violence in any sexual contact or behavior that happens without your consent. So you have to give, you know, despite we have our abolition as, we have to give consent toward these things. And when we don't get consent, if a woman doesn't give us
Take it by
consent,
force.
we cannot take it by force. And another thing that I was reading earlier today, that even if you're in the middle of an act and a woman said no, you
should
have to
stop.
respect that and stop. And now things are getting more out of hand. You know, people are coming out and reading and talking about things. So I would hope that all of that, people coming out and talk about it, it's going to be a good thing. So other names such as for sex and violence is rape, sexual abuse, and sexual assault. Sexual violence is about the power and control, not sex or love, and includes rape, sexual child abuse, incest, fondling, attempted rape, human trafficking, sexual harassment, and any other type of unwanted sexual contact. So we see it a whole array of things we are talking about. It's not just going and raping a girl. You know, some realities is that most sexual assault cases, physical force is not used. Most victims will not display outward visible injuries. And we said,
But it's mostly emotional. It's something that's kept inside.
Exactly so. And with that, you will definitely need some help. Even to unwanted touching, you know, rape actually or attempted unwanted vaginal, oral, or anal penetration by an object or any body part, forcing or manipulating you into doing unwanted, painful, or degrading act during intercourse. And you know that they have some sick people out there. They rape you and they do all manner of things with you. That, they use different kind of object to penetrate you. So we are saying no, we shouldn't be doing these kind of things. Taking advantage of you while you're drunk or otherwise not likely to give consent. Deny your contraceptive and protection if you're having if you want to prevent any sexually transmitted disease. Taking any kind of sexual picture or film. Now we have cell phone guys and people,
and that's something on the rise. I've been seeing young students, and you don't know whose hand these pictures will end up in. You might think you're sending it to a friend, hey, look at my top, but next thing you know, the friend and you become an enemy later on, and she will leak it somewhere else.
And then what happened? That could cause, even people could cause
they could
suicide.
Photoshop it too, or you could put your images out there, and then the kid, a girl reached out to us from upstate, and I told her how to go, and someone was harassing her, and I said go to the police and have the police talk to her to stop, because that's that's social media bullying.
Exactly.
And I think they nip it in the butt right as I instructed her to get it done.
And even forcing you to perform sexual act on film or in person for money. These young guys, these school teenager guys, this is what they do. What is rape? Rape is a crime of violence and domination in which one person forces, coerce, or manipulate another person into having sex. There are many types of rape and can occur, but most important, they are date rape, force or coerce sex with dating relationship. Acquaintance rape is committed by someone who knows the victim. Nearly 2/3 of all victims ages 18 to 29 report a prior relationship with their attacker. Date rape, drugs or alcohol is quite common used in colleges campus, although drug rape is not limited to college campuses, although alcohol is the #1 drug used for sexual assault, and on college campuses, alcohol is a factor for 90% of rape. And let's talk about this, Shanaz. I want to say that, sometimes when you go to bars, I see so many people drunk and they can barely walk to go home.
They don't know where they are sometimes. You lose your state of mind sometimes, and that's a place where guys are preying over you.
Exactly.
They're waiting to walk you to your car. Sometimes they're offering you a ride home, and the next thing you know, you're unsafe. You end up in somewhere you're not familiar with. You're not at your home. Surely, you're getting a ride home, but you're not in your home. They could take advantage of you.
Yes, and that's why we say that if you're going to go drink, it's always good to carry a friend with you and to drink responsibly.
Right.
If you feel that you're getting too drunk.
And always leave with a group,
Yes. Always drink responsibly. Don't go get drunk and then you can't walk home, and then some guy pass with a car and they see you, they pick you up, they take you out, and then they rape you. And you wake up in the morning and you don't know where you are.
And then you regret going out. So you should all be responsible and drink responsible. And if you know someone is going out, I always offer a ride or a pickup. If I know one of my friends going out, I'll offer to pick them up when they're done.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. A good friend.
Yes.
That's good. Statutory rape is a sexual intercourse between a person who is under the age of 16 and a person who is 3 or more years older with or without consent. And one thing I have to say about Connecticut, you have to be like 16 years old before you can give consent for any kind of sex.
16, not 18.
Yeah. So... so I think other states should follow and said, what, put it 18, you should really give consent.
But in Guyana, if you look at it back home in Guyana, at 16, some folks was already married.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes,
So you had to get permission from your parents to get married. They have to sign all your papers, but, it's time have changed, and everyone else, I believe, should be getting with the program. Education comes first. You can always get married. What do you think?
I always believe in empowering women. Women, I believe that girls especially should go to school, get an education. I've always sing that song. Go to school, get an education, and make yourself marketable. That especially if in case you go in any abusive relationship, that you can leave and find a job and do something that you can maintain yourself.
You can be independent, and then you wouldn't need someone to provide for you. But our women, the ones who have that mentality of depending, and someone made a post on Facebook earlier, it says, why does some woman like to live off of men? They feel like they shouldn't have to work because they have a provider for them already.
Yes.
It's all about empowering yourself. That's one thing so no one can take from you is your knowledge. Whether I win the lotto tomorrow, and I hope to win the lotto tomorrow, I will still be working because there's so much more I want to do.
And if Shanaz does win the lotto, I'm going to tell you one thing. We will have a state-of-the-art studio, and both of us will not be working. We will bringing you good information that would help you in your life. And let's say, what is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is any unwelcome, unwanted sexual behavior or pressure that embarrasses or humiliate or intimidate an individual. Sexual harassment can be physical, verbal, or nonverbal. Visuals such as staring or gesture that are suggestive of sexual abuse. You know, Shanaz, now you have to be very careful, and I have to tell my boys too, because you know things have been changed. Now, if you watch a girl a little too hard, you can, you know, they can say
They might come and give a
they could make
complaint. They can,
allegation
yes,
and
they
so
can
on.
go to the
So-
principal and say that you're staring her down.
Yes, and we say that sexual violence can happen to anyone, men, women, and children of all ages, race, gender, sexual identity, religion, and economic classes. Sexual assault victims often feel isolated and are ashamed and often do not report an attack. And we will talk later on why they don't really report any attack. 90% of the victim know the person who sexually assault them. 1 in 6 men will experience sexual assault in their lifetime. Sexual assault of men is thought to be a greatly is unreported, and we will talk about that in 1 minute. 1 in 3 transgender or gender non-conforming people experience sexual violence. 1 in 3 girls, 1 in 5 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they are 18 years old. A rape or attempted rape occur every 5 minutes in the United States.
Wow.
You know, Shanaz, when I was reading about all these things, I was blown away, and I was surprised. I did not know that so much abuse
The
is
rate is
really
high.
happening. You know what I'm saying? And as you said, and we talked earlier, that men are being abused too, but men are kind of shy and shame, and people want to know how come you don't report it, but you know, they don't have the guts to go and the willpower to go and report these kind of things. So
Then they
will
don't want to be
find-
publicly humiliated. They might
Ex-
feel that, you know, it's something embarrassing, and the community, especially in Guyana, to go and say, or in India, just to go and say your girl child's being raped, that's like, you know, downgrading the family there.
Talking about India, while I was driving home today, you know, I always reminisce while I'm coming home. And India, it is such a high incidence of rape, and they kill these girls and all manner of things. And I'm hoping that some way down the line that India will become one of the countries that has stopped all this nonsense foolishness that's
Right.
going on there, that they will have a low incidence of this. And I'm surprised that, you know, that the country has so much money and there's so much rape and so on going on there. And you know, the other thing is that most people who have been raped and molested and so on, is family member, is people who you know are doing these kind of things.
That can definitely put you in a depression.
Exactly. So, like I said, most abusers are family and friends, and often, especially in developed nation, especially such as Guyana, there is a misplaced family honor, things that prevents abuser from being reported. But that also happens here in the United States, especially in our immigrant community. And you know, and as you're talking, as I'm talking, I'm thinking too. You know, especially if you're here illegally, and you've been in a bad situation where you've been raped or molested. You know, you'll be scared to go in and report all of these things to
right,
the hospital,
because
to
you
the
might
police.
think that, you know, your status, your
Yes, and they
legal
will-
status might matter.
You will think that they will deport you if you report it. But one of the good things is that in New York State, especially, even if you don't have your papers, you can go to the police and report these things.
Right. And the beautiful Bibi Ahmad said, in Guyana, you have to be 16 years to consent. Good night to Mr. Deo Moti. Bibi Ahmad, thank you. Suresh Sugram, good night to you. And hey, Mr. Sateshwar Prasad of Toronto, he's saying always informative. So please hit share. We're on a brand new page, a Caribbean Voices page, Voices Against Violence. Next week we'll be on our own page again, the Caribbean Voice page. So guys, do share the pages and tell your friends to like it, as we present to you every Monday a very informative topics, something that we think you guys should help us share as well.
I see Shali Chunilal is watching from Ghana. Debbie Roberts, my neighbor, is watching. Hello there, how are you? Diomoti, thank you very much for all your support. I have to say that Diomoti, you know, I mean, he's been supportive in all that I'm doing here too. Satish War from Canada, you know, we always chit-chat now and again, always supportive. I'm so glad that we have so much people who are watching our program. From last week, actually, we have 6,000 people.
Wow.
And, you know, we were in a rush thing trying
Right.
to get this going.
Good job.
So I want to say thank you very much to all of you guys who've been supporting our program here in New York with me, myself, and Shanaz. And I hope that you guys continue to support us.
And you could always be a guest in our studio, so feel free to hit any one of us and you could be a guest in our studio. Mr. Deo Moti said, I think India have one of the highest rape in India,
Right.
around the world, I should say. Well, I believe so too, and it's all about getting them information and getting them some knowledge.
Exactly. So I see Neela Pawaru is saying good evening to Roy Hanuman.
Hanuman.
You, Neela, I have to tell you, she's always asking me how am I doing, and always been very supportive. Well, we have such a gem in our
The
community,
Caribbean
the
Voice
Caribbean
and the
Voice.
community.
You know, every time that if a child come to you, Shanaz, and tell you that they are being abused, we should believe them.
And we should always listen
to them. We
without
should
being
not-
judgmental.
Mhm. Incest must be mentioned as you know, it's a growing problem in our community, and especially
You talk to your
in
boy
the-
children, you talk to your girl children, you have to tell them, you know, sometimes your family and the things you don't, you know, you draw the line and things that you should be doing and what's not should be doing.
And you know, our president remind me today that I should mention that when a woman says no, no means no, and we should not continue, like we had said earlier. And the other thing is that, Shanaz, I see that, you know, especially in the United States now, that when we go to, especially our Guyanese community, we see women dress all sorts of way, with a miniskirt and all these things. But the truth of the matter is, that does not give you the right to go and rape anyone.
There was a
So-
debate on Facebook, and it shows a half, you know, dressed person, and it says, "Isn't this triggering guys to rape her? Isn't it, you know?" I'm like, isn't she walking there and telling everyone to come and rape me? Is she walking with a sign that says "Come and rape me"? But no, it's, you know, she's also drawing attention to yourself. It's a little bit of that, but again, and the men, they should know, you know, it's her body. You should not go and just touch her and do anything without her consent.
Exactly. So, and it's such a humiliating thing to do. And the other thing is that, you know, guys, you have brothers, you have sisters and mother and grandmother and so on. And for you to go do this is such a violation of someone. It's like I said
I
earlier.
think it shows a lot of how you're being raised and your background sometimes.
Exactly. So,
If you're coming from a respectable family where you appreciate the women in your family, your sisters, your aunts, your moms, you will appreciate it, you'll respect other women. But if you can't respect your own family and your sisters and your mothers, of course you wouldn't respect other females.
Exactly. So, and women give you life, so you should be able to respect them and don't even try to do these kind of things. And now with the law, especially in New York here, the law is very serious, and especially with the Me Too movement, that you do these kind of things. It's what happened now. A lot of women is coming out and they're speaking out. So you have to be very. Now, I don't want to say that you have to be very careful, but try to respect your fellow human being by not going and rape them and all these.
I mean,
things.
we all been watching the news. We've seen some celebrity cases up there that, you know, that went on for 20 years. I say R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, they're all popular names making headlines against rape charges. So what was in your mind, what would you say to holding back these girls from come forwarding all those years ago?
Well, I will get back. We're
We'll touch
gonna
base on
touch
that.
base with that as we go down. But as you ask the question, I will tell you that, you know what, you know, back then when a woman reported she had been raped, it's kind of shame, you know, and even women would like talk about them and these fancy things. So that's why one of the reasons why women never come out and talk, and then she come out and talk, then other guys may feel that, you know what,
And
I
then
can go
she's
ahead
off
and
the
rape her
market.
too.
No one wants to marry her. That's her, you know, that's her thinking. Okay, I'm off the. Nobody will come to ask my father to get married to me, right?
Exactly. So, and you know, in India, what they do, they kill these girls.
Oh, yeah.
They rape them and
They
they
feel
kill
like
them
they're
and
an
all.
embarrassment.
Burn them too. Yes.
They feel like because you get hurt, your parents think you're an embarrassment, so they will destroy you and they will burn you.
I would like to say hello to Navin. Navin is watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. Facts about rape victim getting pregnant. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention estimate that nearly 1.3 million American women were a victim of rape or attempted rape every year. Half of all attempt rape will result in an actual rape being completed. You know, statistics show 64,000 women per year are being raped, citing data from the Justice Department. Up to 6 in 10 rape will not be reported in law enforcement. And as you asked just now, you know, that people are not reporting. And exactly, so people are not. 6 out of 10 rape is being reported only, which may account for the large disparity in number. A study in 1996 study found that the national rape-related pregnancy rate of 5% rape among victims were between the ages of 12 and 45. But what a disgrace and a shame to go rape a young girl. 12 years old? Come on, what kind of moral do you have as a person, as a human being?
Well, that is, you might think that is sad. I saw a 5-year-old on Facebook recently. So, some things are believable, but some things are really unbelievable. And a 5-year-old, come on.
Yes, a study showed that when a sample was done and it's expanded into population, it is estimated that 3,200 people to 50,000 people rape related to pregnancy occur every year.
Those are unwanted pregnancies, and then you have to give abortion. Most of the girls will want to do that because it reminds you every day that you're carrying a 9, if you decide to keep that baby, every day will remind you that of that incident. So can you imagine that? What's going through someone's mind?
It's hard when you have a 12-year-old that has been pregnant, or even a woman who is pregnant from being raped or molested. And it has the woman have a price to pay when these things happen, especially these young girls being raped at 12 years old and become pregnant at 12 years old. How can you move on? And studies have showed that women and girls who have been raped during those years, they have problems like psychological problems. They have become like depressed and suicidal, and so it's hard for them to move on. And being a nurse, like I say, I met one time where this young girl, she was probably 50 years old, and I saw
50.
her. She was about 50 years old, and during our talk and so on, I see she was in a fight. And the thing is that she was so upset, Shanaz, and I wanted to know really what happened to this girl. And when I was talking to her, she told me her father raped her brother raped her boyfriend raped her son raped her. And so I said, you know what, and I think I mentioned this to you before, that I said, let us not discharge this patient. Let us give her the kind of care that she wants to. Because when these things happen, when these girls are so young, and all these things happen to them, especially rape, you're violating someone's body, you are really destroying them, and it's hard for them to move on in their life and to get. So I would advise, anytime these things happen, these young girls, parents should make sure they get some kind of therapy, some kind of help, see a psychiatrist.
Well, how can the parent get you therapy if the parent are the one of them that's hurting you and putting you through all of this, right? Where is the mother in this case? The father was raping her, the brother was raping her. Where was her mother?
Well, Shanaz, in our society now here is that you find that, and you probably may know that some mother, grandmother or father may be drug addicted and be alcoholic, and they don't have time with their kids. And so they will leave the kids home.
So because of their behavior, your children are also suffering from that.
Exactly. So, and so that's a bad thing to do. So you have to watch your children. Despite whatever you do, always keep an eye on them, because you don't know.
You should always have a level head so you know what's going on around you. And, especially when it comes to our kids and their safety. If you can protect your children, who will? We are their parents. We should protect them.
I see Jeffrey Ryan is watching. I want to say, DJ Fest, thank you very much for being with us, for helping us setting up this little studio home. You have been very generous. I told Shanaz you have been very helpful. I also told our president how helpful you are, and I hope that you continue to help me in this. I don't know much of this. I see Dudley Charles watching us for the first time. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to the Caribbean Voice, and I hope that you enjoy our program and you find it very interesting. I hope that you come back a second time and look at our program. I see your friend,
the famous
friend
John from Queens, the Caribbean Voice editor, I should say, because he's been editing all the wonderful programs you guys are enjoying on Channel 56 and Channel 34. Those are Fios and Spectrum Channel. And yes, you could watch a live entertainment segment or a very informative segment sometimes on Channel 56, Channel 34. So thank you to the famous John from Queens.
Yeah, he makes our video look very professional. I was very happy when I look at it on Facebook, and then I went on YouTube and see it. So I want to say thank you very much for doing all of this for the Caribbean Voice. We would like to say thank you very much, okay? The percentage of women who decided to keep the child after discovering they are pregnant, facts about rape victim getting pregnant. The Center for Diseases and Prevention estimated that nearly 1.3 million American women are victims of rape or attempted rape. which I said earlier. So Shanaz, I want to say that when someone come to you with problems of being raped, we must believe them. We must listen to them, and listening to them. We shouldn't be judgmental of what they're doing. So half of the women had an abortion, as you say. 6% placed the child up for adoption, and about 12% of the pregnancies had a miscarriage or spontaneous
Termination.
abortion. So here we see again that as we're talking, it is hard for someone to become pregnant. It's so unfortunate to become pregnant from someone who raped you.
From a rape incident.
And like you said earlier, it is hard for them to have this child and to look at this child every day, knowing that this child is from the result of
a
an
memory
rape.
of what happened. Every day you live that memory.
And also, I want to add, Shanaz, that it is not the child's fault that.
But I do believe that they will be affected somehow along the way growing up from their parents. Do you think that will be a little trauma for them?
Absolutely, it has to be traumatic for both the parents and the child. But as a parent, and you know better, so you should do better. And still, if you decide to keep the child, and the other thing is that when you find out sometime that you're really pregnant, when you find out that you are pregnant, sometimes it's too late, and you may end up have to keep the child. So it might be, in today's society, it might be a very good thing to give the child up for adoption if that's what you want to do. And we are from the Caribbean Voice are not saying that you should give up the child. But if that's what you want to do, rather than keep the child and beat the child and do all manner of things to this child, the best thing that you would
the
probably want
healthiest
to
thing
do,
to do is give birth and give them up for adoption.
Give the child for
because
adoption.
as much as some folks is able, some women are able to get pregnant, it's hard for some others, so they will gladly appreciate your child if you're giving them up for adoption.
The first thing that we all do with women who are facing the pregnancy that have been raped is not being judgmental. We want to be kind with our words with that person. Don't go tell every time Dick and Harry that this person pregnant because she was raped. They've already been a victim one time, and to go and make them a victim another time, that is bad. We don't need to make them the victim a second time. We can also create a supportive group that would help women to be able to talk about the decisions and that they do make. About 4 to 10 pregnancies from rape will see a child born, and sometimes that means women become a single parent. It might also be a child given up for adoption. Either way, the stress that a woman will face from either decision can be immensely hurtful and painful, which can also lead to depression, as we say earlier.
For you guys out there, respect the female around you and all your sisters and your mothers. Hey, Ryan Jeffrey, good night to you. Good night, Mr. John Nimmat. He was blocked from Facebook also. Good night to Mr. Waterflow. Thank you to the beautiful Melissa Anthony. She said, you could read that comment. Thank you for introducing this important topic, right? There's a lot of topics that, everyone think is deja vu, but I know a lot of our elderly women growing up in Guyana was abused, but they're very shy and it's not something they would like to come forward with. But we talked a lot about rape in our conversation, our inboxes, and yes, they said they were molested by, family members like uncles, and I do believe that alcohol sometimes plays a role in this. What do you think?
Absolutely, and a lot of times people drink and they want to blame their bad
Blame the
behavior
alcohol.
for alcohol, but like I said, we shouldn't be blaming alcohol. It's us. When we drink, we get drunk, we know things, yes, but the thing is that alcohol would probably lead you to do more things.
Right. So guys, if you're having a at-home party, keep your children safe. Don't leave them with others or strangers, because you never know how someone may react. And this one thing I don't like is your children coming and meeting and greeting everyone with a kiss and a hello. I'm very friendly, but as you may know, a handshake is good enough for me, or a smile. I'm not a hugger. I'm not a kisser. Maybe because we're working in the medical field, I don't feel like we should always
Me
come
too,
and
I
give
don't-
you a
yeah.
kiss. I'm against that.
Well, I see John is back. Thank you very much for tuning in. I actually asked a couple of days ago, I said, what happened to John? I haven't seen him on our page. So welcome back. I myself was locked out of Facebook. I'm still locked out. I'm waiting for them to open up my page. So I will probably inbox you and ask you how you get it done.
I think he waited his turn. He waited his 30 days.
I think, really?
I believe he was in Facebook jail.
Jesus.
So good night to you, John, and I hope you're happy that you are back. Waterflow is in the building. Good night to you, Mr. John Nimmet. Waterflow, how you doing? Any new releases coming out soon? I know you're always on the ones and the twos when it comes to music, and you're always an original singer.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And with that said, we say singer. Let's play a nice tune. Our young DJs, on our in-house DJ, I should say, they have very good choice for you guys tonight. Hey, good night, Mr. John Nimmet. I'll read your comment. He said, a male child born out of rape has a higher chance to become a rapist. It's all about the DNA from his father. Now, what are you thinking?
Well, he said from his father, it's all about the DNA from his father.
Remember, he has mother's DNA too.
Yes, it's a mixed thing, but you know what? I believe, this is my personal opinion that we are born human being, and I forget about I take DNA out of the equation. We are our own individual, no matter whatever DNA we have. When we become adult, we are the one responsible for making our own decision. And sometimes, and I'm going to try run through some things. I know time is short for us, but I'm going to try run through some stuff and let them know. The thing is that, sometimes a child would see these things or have been raped during their childhood, and then they do the same thing when they become older.
They can also become a very good person because
Yes,
of that. So
yes. To authorities, child sexual abuse is also not uniform defined. So the statistics may vary. Statistics represent below represent some of the research done on child abuse. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Children Bureau report child mistreatment in 2010 found 9.2% of victimized children were sexually assaulted. A study was done by David Finkelhorn, director of Crime Against Children. He said 1 in 5 girls have been raped. 1 in 20 boys is a victim of child abuse. Self-reporting studies show that 20% of adult female have been raped, and 5 to 10% of adults may recall a childhood sexual assault or sexual incidents abuse that occurred during in the USA. We got one period in the USA. 16% of youth ages 14 to 17 has been sexually victimized over the course of their lifetime. 28% of youth, which is ages to 14 to 17, has been sexually traumatized. So you can see, Shanaz, that these young children, they are there a lot of damage is going on with them, and it's sad that as parents and as children, as family members, we can't really protect these children. Children are most vulnerable in this between the age of 7 and 13. According to the 2003 National Institute of Justice report, 3 out of 4 adolescents who have been sexually assaulted were victimized by someone that they all know. And
That is sad.
yes, by their uncle, by their stepfather. And that's why I tell people, be very careful. These single women, if you are going out with a guy, be very careful, and you have kids, especially girl children.
Get a checked background
Yes.
checked on him
Yeah,
first.
now you can do all these things. You have to be very careful who you introduce your girl children to when you got these children, because when you go on out to work and when you um,
When
when
you're
you're
not
not
around
home,
24/7,
any,
they're in the
anything can
hands
happen.
of their stepfather, stepmother, and they wouldn't be treating them with the best respect and admiration you think they are.
Yes, a study conducted in 1986 found that 63% of women who had suffered sexual abuse by family members also reported a rape or attempted rape after the age of 14. Recent studies done in 2000, 2002, and 2005 have all concluded similar results. Children who have had experience of rape or attempted rape in their adolescent years were 13.7 times more likely to experience rape or attempted rape in their first year in college. So another thing, a lot of our children now, they're growing up and they have to go to college, they have to move away from home. So Shanaz, as parents, we have to teach our young children to be very careful and to build their self-esteem up, that when they go to college and when they go to other places, they do not let these things happen, that they should be strong enough to stand up for themselves.
Yes, you don't want your kids to be getting advantage taken on them. Good night to the founder of the Caribbean Voice, Mr. Anand Budram. Thank you to the beautiful Melissa Anthony. And yes, we'll be reaching out to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. We have a little bit of a late start today. We do apologize, but hey, we have our second studio full in session, ready to use and ready to accommodate guests. So guys, if you'd like to be in one of the seats right here, do reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice, Mr. Kenneth Hiram, Mr. Anand Budram, or myself, Shanaz, and you could be a guest on our featured program every Monday. Remember, 5 minutes of your time could save a life. And remember, suicide prevention is
Everybody's business. Yes, a child who is a victim of prolonged sexual abuse usually develop low self-esteem, a feeling of worthlessness, and an abnormal or distorted view of sex. The child has become withdrawn or mistrustful of adult and can become suicidal. I want to say this another thing too, that Shanaz, when your child, you want to go out and your child, you want to leave your children with, like, let's say Tom Jones, and your child say, I don't want to go to Tom Jones and stay, but you insisting
There's a
that the
reason why. You should sit down with them and have a discussion. And if you don't feel like they're telling you accurate, also have a discussion with Tom Jones to see why.
Exactly. So don't force your young children to do what they don't want to do. And you should, when they say they don't want to go, and Shana, children should really like a lot of
They
people.
should be outgoing and
exactly so.
and happy to go with friends. I like to have children mixing with children. But when you're having adult conversation, adults and children, I do not like parties where the kids are there and the adults I keep them separate.
Exactly. So children who do not live with both parents, as well as children live in their homes marked by parental divorce or domestic violence, have a higher incidence of sexual abuse. And yes, and that's what we were talking earlier, Shanaz, that you have to be very careful at saying that if both partner are not living together, it's a higher incidence of abuse happening to your
Make sure
children.
your environment is safe when, for the the parent.
Exactly.
And that
So
goes for guys. You might think, okay, my daughters are with the dad, and the dad have a girlfriend, but you don't know who's the girlfriend's relative. Who are uncles, who are the guests in her household that might be stopping by. So don't judge them by just one person.
in the vast majority of cases, there where there is a credible evidence that a child has been penetrated, only 5 to 15% of those children will have a genital injury consistent with sexual abuse. So not every kid would have like a bruise or a cut or anything else, and we know that
No kind of evidence showing
evidence show, and
external.
we know that when you penetrate someone, um, these things heal sometime overnight.
But the
And
internal scars,
exactly,
does not.
so I'm going back, and I don't know if I'll get a chance to talk about this later. And as we're going, I'm going to talk as much as I can do with this. If your child or you have been raped, one of the best thing that you can do is go to the emergency room, report the incident, because what happened now at the hospital, they have like a rape kit where they swab you, they check you out, they see,
They
they
could
take
get a DNA.
they get DNA, the guy
Right.
sperm may be there, whatever may be there, whatever evidence is there, they can keep that and put it in like a data bank. So this guy can be stopped, or girl, whatever, whoever it is, can be stopped right in their track. You know what I'm saying? That if he raped somebody else and they report it,
As
these
Mr.
are
John
information.
Nemeth said, what about HIV? Sometimes you get raped by someone who have HIV, and that is a double,
And this is where it's bad too. But I'm going to tell you this part, John. As a nurse, I know that even that you're exposed to HIV, and one good thing that you can do if you have been raped, one of the best thing you can do is to go to the hospital. They can treat you for AIDS. They can give you some medication to stop this from you from getting it. So that is another good thing, and I'm glad that you bring that up so that we get to talk about it a little bit. Okay. Excuse me.
And Mr. John also comment, is rape a natural behavior? Well, I'm not sure about natural behavior. If
No,
it
it's
was
not
natural, then
natural.
all the men will be doing it out there. Even birds like penguins, known with their despicable behavior. I don't know about singing birds, Kenneth.
No, when you talk about birds, no, when you're talking about human being,
Right. We cares about the human beings tonight, Mr. John Nemeth.
And we know that child sexual abuse is not solely restricted to physical contact, such as abuse. It could include non-contact abuse, such as exposure. A lot of people like to show themselves. That's not a new thing. I know that when I was a nurse back in Guyana, I used to. And if any nurse watching, you could know that we had the guys was outside was masturbating, that people could see them. So you have these kind
Patience?
of
Is it patience?
you have guys who doing these things, and you can get to
Oh.
see them. But so we have all these people. We have some crazy people.
We do have a lot of characters.
Even to you put children to watch porn, it's no good. Comparing to those with no history of sexual abuse, young males who were sexually abused were 5 times more likely to cause teen pregnancy, 3 times more likely to have multiple sex partners, and 2 times more likely to have unprotected sex, according to the study published online and in the Journal of Adolescent Health. So yes, we have to be very careful. There's so much people out there, Shanaz, that's I don't want to say crazy, but we have to pay attention to
I would
ourselves
say it's
where
all
we're
about
going.
mental health again. They're not getting the help they need, the checkup they need.
Exactly. So Shanaz, what and we can talk a little bit. You are a woman, and you are one of our celebrity around. You go to places, you see, you get to see a lot of people.
I do.
You're on the stage,
And
and you
recently,
say,
I've been seeing a lot of women just over it. You think, and I refer to a song. They said, anything a man can do, a woman can do better. I think they're really taking this up a notch. And they said, if you guys could drink, the women could drink more. And guess what? They're getting taken advantage of. So
yes.
girls do not do that. Let the guys be the guys. Let them drink. We have a character. We have a reputation. We want to honor that. They're already known for drinking. So let's keep our reputation very good.
Yes, and let's talk about incest, Shanaz. Incest is where close family that they cannot marry each other legally. Like for example, a father marrying a daughter marrying her brother. That's what we really call incest. So we don't want to encourage these kind of things. So there is a price to pay for that child, especially that female who have been in incest. And I have known people who have a girl who was pregnant by her uncle, and these things happen. They do happen in Guyana too, and in the United States too. So you still have to watch, as we are talking. You have to watch your kids, and as I said, we are going to cut things up a little bit. You said children who have been sexually abused feel many different and often overwhelming emotions. The fear of the abuser, and of course, the trouble they cause trouble. Sometimes if you have a kids, and I will go to something and talk in a minute, where they will be scared to tell what's going on. And so that's why, as a parent, you have to have a good relationship with your children, an open relationship with your children,
So they
so
feel
that they could
comfortable
comfortable with
enough to
you and
talk to
talk to
you,
you.
right?
Even as an uncle or somebody else, be that one that they
The
could come
comfort
and talk
zone.
to you. Of losing adult important to them. So you know what? Sometimes a child may report her father is doing her molesting her, or a cousin, and what happened if it's reported? They go to jail. So sometimes the family may not want that to happen for that one person
Especially
to
if
go
he's
to
the
jail.
provider of the family. I've read an article about a Trinidadian girl who was raped repeatedly by her mom's brother. And the mom didn't want to make it public, and they didn't want to embarrass the uncle. So you know what? She let it happen and happen and happen until the girl became an adult, and now she is, public and talking about it.
I see your best friend Sonia Debedin is watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. Miss Lee Nye from Florida is watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. I see John said, "Oh my God, what about HIV infection?" Let's talk about HIV a little bit. The good thing with HIV now is that you could live over 20 years and 30 years. A lot of times that people who have like AIDS, they outlive people who
The
have cancer
cancer.
and all these things. So that's a good thing there.
And I'm hoping in the research we could find something, because cancer is the number one silent killer out
Yes, and
there.
we talked a lot about that last week. Also, while we are talking, I want to tell you guys that even if you contracted hepatitis, I want you guys to know that hepatitis, there is treatment for hepatitis, and you can be undetected. There is a 3-month medication that you can take, which is very good. But the only thing is about that is kind of about 40,000 or how much thousands dollars for a 3 month of that supply of that
Supplies.
medication. The kid may be anger at they may be angry at the abuser or the other adults around them who didn't protect them. And as children, Shanaz, we have a responsibility to watch over our kids, to watch them, to
Keep them
take care of
safe.
them, to keep them safe from these predators that's out there. So as I said, parents, if if you're in a relationship, try to safeguard that relationship so that you can be with your children. They themselves, they feel as if they cause the problem. Sometimes children feel like they cause all this problem. Sometimes they could feel isolated because something is wrong with them. They feel that something is wrong with them because they feel alone in this experience, because they have trouble talking about the abuse. Let me say, Shanaz, I don't know if you look, but if we had the time, I would have played the video that I see that I got from Guyana, that Bibi sent to me, where this young girl in Guyana, she was, or I'm not sure if it's her stepfather or her father that was molesting her, and she confronted him, and she told him and talked in front of her mother that this guy was sexually molesting her, and he stabbed her a couple times, and the mother went to part the fight, part him from stabbing her, and she got cut in her arm too. So as we're talking about it, I want to say, and I know somewhere down the line I will bring it up again, that if someone one of the things that you don't do is you don't confront that person right there and then, like just like this girl, and this is a good example to show you do not like
But
people
she
may
felt
feel
confident because she was surrounded by others.
by her mother, yes, but she was in
I guess he was equipped to harm her.
yes, he went and he got a knife and he stabbed that girl to death. I was so sad watching that, and I keep save it in my phone so we could have played tonight, but because of time we
Maybe we'll
cannot.
add the link in our chat box so everyone could It was her stepfather.
It was okay.
Yes,
And
we'll
that's sad.
we'll add that link in here. Also, guys, our non-for-profit organization is the Caribbean Voice. Our donation GoFundMe page is in. Mr. Annan will be enclosing that, or the beautiful BB. Hey, Mr. Diamond, how are you doing tonight? A lot of folks are asking, how can we make a donation towards the Caribbean Voice? Well, always click on the GoFundMe link. It is the safest way of wiring money to any person or a non-for-profit organization, such as the Caribbean Voice. We do appreciate all your donations, whether it's clothing or books that we're trying to fund for schools in Guyana. Your donations mean a lot to us. The Caribbean Voice, the mind-body connection, every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. with Mr. Hiram and myself. If you want to
It's
be a
10
guest in the
o'clock.
studio, feel free to come on down.
And I want to say also, you can write a check to the Caribbean Voice. I also would like to say a special thank you to Miss Bibi Hack. She's making a donation. I don't know if she want me to say this, but you know what? We hear so much bad things out in the world. Bibi, if I don't want to offend you, but thank you very much for your donation. I'm not going to say how much, but you have been very generous with us. We really do appreciate it. If Shanaz doesn't come pick it up from you this week, I'll be seeing you on Tuesday. I want to say thank you very much to Patsy Nanan. She's living in Baltimore. She's always tuning in and always saying kind things to us. So thank you and welcome back to my page. As you know, most of you, my page has been locked down, so I am doing all manner of things to just be on Facebook, but I'm not depressed. Another thing is,
And I'll give you a little feedback from one of the girls. She said it's Facebook jail. You have to be in if you're commenting on a lot of posts or you're oversharing.
yes,
So, guys, we urge you to hit share for us, the Caribbean Voice. We have a lot of videos to be sharing, so we can't share as much as we would love to share. But hey, help us share, get the word out around the world, because you never know who might need the Caribbean Voice help. Reach out to us on Facebook, and we will enclose the number and the address to where you can mail your checks. It'll be going out to the founder himself, Mr. Anand Budram, but please make it payable to the Caribbean Voice. We are a registered non-for-profit organization, and your donations are going a far, far way. We're helping in Guyana and around the world. When it comes to counseling, we have reputable and qualified individuals on the phone waiting to talk to your next person.
and I see Neela ask, where can the donations be dropped off? You know what? Shanaz is the queen for that. I had some stuff, and she and her honey came and pick up everything.
Yes,
So
we are on the go. We could be coming to your door, pick up all your donations. But when it comes to monetary donation, you could always mail a check out to the Caribbean Voice, and the address will be in the box. Mr. Waterflow is making a donation to the Caribbean Voice. So, guys, congratulations to Mr. Waterflow. No, we're not writing a check for water. Waterflow is writing a check for the Caribbean Voice. Thank you very much to all you wonderful folks around the world who's watching us. The Caribbean Voice presentation of the mind-body connection. We would love to have you in our studio pretty soon, and we'll have Mr. Waterflow as a featured guest, as an artist representing Guyana, and a guy who's around a lot of girls. I'm sure he could give them some tips on behavior, how to behave, how to dress, so you don't have guys like Waterflow running after you.
yes, Waterflow is doing a lot of things. You know, you guys take food stamps. You always funny, Waterflow. I tell you. I hope you're not on food stamp anyway. So, Shalaz, because of time, I want to say, you know, how can we help a friend or someone who has been
Being raped?
or who have been abused? And I'm going to cut it nice so that we can make it short. Most survivors of sexual and relationship violence disclose the assault or abuse to at least one person, usually a friend. You can rescue your friend or solve her or his problem, but being there to listen, believe, and support your friend is a positive way which you can help in the healing process. You know, Shanaz, it's always good to have somebody that you can talk to, someone who you could trust.
And if
Not-
you don't want to talk to your family members, Mr. Kenneth is here on the other line, or the Caribbean Voice team. Do message us on Facebook, and we are here to help.
Absolutely, we are here to help. If you need any help, you can contact me, Shanaz, or Mr.
And
Anand
Budram, the
Budram.
beautiful Neela Pawaru, the beautiful Bibi Ahmad. We have so many qualified counselors willing to take your call. So do reach out to us.
Yes, and you know, Bibi from Guyana, you know, she is in Guyana. So if you need any help, and I know that talking about this tonight can raise some concern. And if you're in the States, you can contact us. Or if you're in Guyana, you can always talk to Bibi. Listen and support. It's tough to be prepared when a friend tell you that he or she has been raped or was abused in some way, remember that you can't rescue your friend or solve their problem. You can only provide support. And provide support means you can sit there, you can listen to them in a non-judgmental way. And like I said before, do not go, if somebody confide those kind of things to you, do
Do
not
not
go
go and
around and tell
disclose it.
everybody what's going on, right? I said in a non-judgmental way environment, emotional comfort and support for the survivor to express their feelings. Let him or her know that he or she can talk to you, and you don't rush the person that's going to talk to you. You let them talk to you at their own pace
With
and
empathy, you
exactly.
know.
So that word non-judgment has been coming up so much in our program, Shanaz. And when your friend come and talk to you, always believe them. If someone tell you, don't think that they're lying to you. Listen out to them. Like I said, in a non-judgmental
Judgmental.
way. Above all, you believe what they're telling you. Like I said, a lot of times people don't really make up these things. If the survivor say he or she was hurt, um, try your best how you can help. Keep their number close by to you, in
Always
case
reach
they
out to
want to
them
call you.
for a
Yes,
talk, and don't let them be the first one calling. Sometimes you can make an effort to dial the number and speak to them. They will very much appreciate your call.
exactly. So, and Shanaz, I want to tell you, always reassure them. Let them know that sex assault is never their fault. No one has to be sexually assaulted by what they wear or what they do. Like I tell you before, let the survivor know that the only person to be blamed is the perpetrator, the one who abused you, who's having sex with you. Always be patient. Don't press for details. Let your friend decide how much to tell you and ask him or her how you can help. A good thing to do, you sit down, you listen to them, and you let them know that, listen, I'm here to listen to you. I'm here in a non-judgmental fashion. I want you to tell me all you want to tell me. I'm going to listen. And together we can probably, you don't make a decision for that person. You let them make that decision. You can also be kind of a resource for them, that you can even
You
make
can
some
offer
calls to
whatever
them.
help they need, guide them through. If you cannot help them, reach out to the Caribbean Voice and ask for some advice. We will guide you into helping your friend.
Survivors have to struggle with complex decisions, and feeling so powerless trying to make decisions for themselves may only increase a sense of powerlessness. You can be supported by helping your friend to identify all the available options. For example, you can say the first place you can start is probably you talk to your friend. You can go talk to a priest. You can talk to your parents. A police officer. You can talk to a social worker, whomever you want to, and you feel comfortable to. The survivor can't just forget it and just move on. Recovery is a long-term process, and each individual will move on at their own pace. And as I always tell people, we are individuals, and we all different. Like for example, someone might be raped and it will take them their lifetime
To
to
recover from
recover,
that.
and there is someone who might be raped and they forget it and move on. Like it's a common way thing, but
Our
whatever or
coping
however,
mechanism.
exactly. So however they do it, Shanaz, it's a good way to always support them. Always encourage them to survivors seek medical attention and to report the assault. Like I said earlier, you can get help if you support them. Remember that the survivor must immediately make the decision as to what to do. Don't, especially if you've been raped, don't go take a shower at the same time. Then what you do, you can wash off
You
all the
wash all the
stuff that's
evidence.
there, evidence
Okay.
there. Go just as you are to the hospital, and like you don't have to change your underwear and so on. You go just like that, so they could pick up any DNA
Right.
evidence
And as
that's
Mr.
relevant.
Anand wrote in our chat box, even in countries like Guyana, they have a rape kit available in the hospitals.
Yeah, wow, that's very good to hear. She or he or she, is expert in their own life. They know how they feel. Don't push them for information. Remember, supporting your friend's choice, no matter what they decide to do. For example, Shanaz, if your friend come tell you that they have been raped, if they don't want to go to report it,
Do not
do
force
not
them.
force
Do not
them
go and call the police. Take it upon
on
yourself
yourself
to
to
go
go and do
call
it.
them and get
You
them
should be
involved.
able to get permission to do that. For let them do whatever they want to do, but always encourage them, and whatever decision they make, you will support them. If they report it, you support
Support
them.
them.
If you don't, you still
But
support
try to be
them.
the best friend you could be and listen and sometimes comfort them. That's all they might ask
Yeah,
for.
respect and privacy. Don't tell others what the survivor tell you. Again, like I said, keep this in confidence. Let the individual decide who she's going to tell or who she's not going to tell. If you do need to share the information for your friend's safety, get permission by letting your friend know what you will share and what you will not share. Don't go give your mouth liberty that go say auntie
Well, you know, Guyana, you don't have to give them liberty. They're born with liberty in Guyana, and some of them bring that attitude here and abroad. You know, they might still not have your interest at heart when it comes to talking. So, guys, know who to talk to, and not everybody that smiles with you is your friend. I learned that the hard way. Not everybody that tends to you thinking you know, they have your interest at heart. Sometimes they listen to you and listen for all your ideas, and then they put them in effect.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. So, and it sells, the story changes from one hand to the other.
Right.
Like I said earlier, Tishanas, don't come from the perpetrator, though you might want to fix the situation or get back at the abuser. Like you may want to go and stab the abuser and shoot them. If you do that, that's a no. What would happen is that you would end up going to jail for killing someone.
So should we take a music item before we bid them farewell? Well, we have two DJs, two young DJs, and I'm always surprised at their selection. So let's go with a tune for you guys from the Caribbean Voice, the Mind Body Connection, every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. right here. DJ, take it away.
Before we go, I want to tell you, sometime when someone has been raped, you don't know what to say. So here are a couple of things that you can say to the person. It's hard to know what to say, right? So what you're going to do, support your friend with the phrase like, it's not your fault. I'm sorry this happened to you. I believe what you're telling me. How can I help you? I'm glad you told me. And that's a good thing. I'm glad you trust me enough to tell me. I will support your choice, whatever you do. You are not alone. You may find it helpful to share with your friends what you have learned about violence. This is also a good time to share with them your belief on the possibility of healing. Let your friends know that you believe them, and give them the strength to heal. Get support for yourself. Sometimes the family and friends of victims may also feel the impact of the crime and experience emotional and physical reaction. This is called secondary victimization. Hearing about relationship abuse, sexual assault, and stalking can be very upsetting. You may feel angry, sad, frustrated, and helpless. If you have experienced crime or other traumatic event in the past, your friend's experience might bring up memories and feelings of that. You may want to talk about your feelings with your friend, and you may also want to respect your friend's privacy. In the United States, there is about in every 92 second American has been sexually abused. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that you have tuned into our program. It was very hard for us to talk about this today because there is so much hurt going in this world. Um, it's not easy preparing all of this during this time. I see Shelly Chunilal tune in. Thank you
My
very
brother
much.
from Toronto, Mr. Tyron Majumutu, good night to you. Mr. Shabir Bax from the No Janjet group on Facebook, good night to you. And he wrote, being embarrassed could lead to fatal consequences.
Exactly so, and that's where you have to, Shanaz, and I'll say it again that when you have your kids, it's always, you always encourage your children to be forthcoming with information. Tell me what's going on.
You have to
Don't.
open that road for communication. Ask
Mhm.
them daily. Do not wait. A lot of folks don't get a chance to have dinner or breakfast with their kids, and
Mhm.
that's an important role. You should make it a date. If you can't have dinner or breakfast once a week, make time to sit down and have a discussion, a talk.
Yes, yes. Always put in the time with your kids if you have, you know what I'm saying? Despite I work so much hours, I always try to give
Or
them a
make
little
sure
hug
they
or,
know you're available on the telephone,
yes,
to
yes.
call you right away and disclose whatever they need to get off their chest.
Exactly. So once again, we apologize for being late, but we are trying to get things together. So I hope by next week, DJ Fest can really fix things up. I like how Shanaz look on our program tonight. The computer is looking very good. Shanaz, as always, I would like to say thank you very much for coming out and to
Thank you
always
very much.
support.
The Caribbean Voice, we are here for you, so reach out to us. Remember, 5 minutes of your time could save a life, and suicide prevention is everybody's business. As Mr. John Nimad bid us farewell, we'll also like to bid you guys farewell, but our address is in the chat box where you can mail those checks to. That is the Caribbean Voice. We are a non-for-profit organization. And remember, if you need a document as a tax write-off, do reach out to us and we'll get you that tax exempt form.
Yes, and I see Vanessa Austin says, "Good boy, we need some of these programs in Guyana." You know what? We are working, and we are in Guyana. We are representing the Caribbean voice, and to be honest, we are in Guyana too.
That's right. You'll be seeing our programs on air and listening to us on the radio. More information coming up. Do keep a lookout for programs such as Concert for Hope in the Making in Guyana. That's right. It's coming to Guyana. We'll be in Florida pretty soon, and in New York, the date is July 13th. Save the date. But right now, we are supporting Chutney Wine. It's all happening April 27th at the beautiful and elegant Amazura Concert Hall. So, guys, call us and get your tickets today. One non-for-profit organization supporting another non-for-profit organization as we make the world a better place for each and every one of us.
And if any one of you who's going to listen to this program or listening to this program, if you've ever been abused, raped, I hope that you can find peace somewhere. Whether you talk to a counselor, but make sure whatever you do, always seek some counseling that could help you to move on with your life.
And we can never know what you're experiencing when it comes to feelings because we're not walking in their shoes, but it's a very hard shoe to fill, and we are very empathetic with you guys.
Yes, and we keep going, and we have to cut short soon because I don't want you guys up to be up so late. But Neela just said that we should mention about a shooting that occurred a couple of years ago, and where this father killed himself and this girl killed herself. And let's we can close the program by saying that when these things happen, people need counseling. Sometimes the brain and your body cannot, the heart, all these things
Process
as a
all of
whole
that. We
cannot
need.
process. It's very
It's
difficult
very
sometimes.
traumatic.
So always, if these things happen, always seek counseling. Always talk to somebody who can really help you.
On that note, we'll say good night to the beautiful Bibi Abad, John Nimmet. Good night to each and every one of you. Mr. Waterflow will be waiting for that check coming from Mr. Waterflow himself. Mr. Shabir Baksh, good night to you. My brother in Toronto, Tyron Majimutu, and all you wonderful folks locked on every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. to the Caribbean Voice, the mind-body connection. It's always a pleasure being here. If you would like to hear us talk about a topic, do hit us up and we will get the information for you guys on an upcoming show.
And next week we'll be talking about diabetes.
Your health is your wealth. Take care of yourself so no one else will have to take care of you. Until next time, God bless you and yours. Take care, God bless, and all the best. Good night.
Good night.